In the previous video, we started discussing the mechanisms by which microorganisms develop resistance. We have already discussed 3 such strategies, and we are going to discuss the rest of the strategies in this video. One very possible mechanism by which microorganisms do exhibit resistance is wherein they can change the target of the antimicrobial agent completely. So for example, if an antibiotic was targeting one of the component of the cell wall of the bacteria, whatever that component was on which the antibiotic was acting, the bacteria will change that component totally so that now it does not have that target only anymore. Or its structure is modified such that antibiotic cannot come and recognize and act on that structure. So this may happen with most of the targets wherein the microorganisms will modify or change the target of the antimicrobial agents. And another way is to bypass the effect of the antibiotic, wherein if the antibiotic was targeting a cellular process, it was trying to stop the process of DNA replication, that is making copies of the DNA, or it was stopping the protein production process inside the cell. So which part of these processes were being targeted, those parts the bacteria may try to change completely, so that now that target is itself not in place in the process of replication or the process of protein production. Whatever part of the process was being targeted, that part will be modified such that now the antimicrobial agent does not have that target in place. This is also one of the effective ways by which microorganisms can gain and exhibit resistance. So we have already discussed all these points, wherein we said that either the microorganism restricts the access by blocking the entry of the antimicrobial agent, or it can pump it out. If it manages to enter, it can still throw it out, or it can produce enzymes to destroy the antimicrobial agent such that whatever the broken down product is, that's of no use because it may not have any medicinal properties. They may try to change the structure of the antibiotic's target so that if the target is not in place, it will be very difficult for the antibiotic to go and act on that particular component. Or if it was targeting a cellular process, then probably that process may also be modified such that antibiotic will be rendered useless. So these are all different mechanisms by which microorganisms exhibit resistance. Of course, if you fragment them down and try to understand more details, you will also find several other subtypes in these mechanisms. You can go into much more details of it. And for people who are from microbiology or biological science background, I will try to post some extra reading materials which you can access to and try and understand more about how resistance is exhibited by different kinds of microorganisms. This brings us to the end of this very interesting 3rd week of antimicrobial resistance, wherein we started with understanding how important antimicrobial resistance is. We took an example of tuberculosis. We tried and discussed different causes of antimicrobial resistance, which finally brought us to discuss the mechanisms by which antimicrobial resistance is exhibited by different microorganisms. This was a very interesting week. And the next and the final week of this course is going to be on how do we deal with antimicrobial resistance in general. What is the Indian scenario of antimicrobial resistance? And that will take us towards the end of the course, wherein we will try to see how we can use the knowledge that we have gathered during the time point of discourse. So till then, stay tuned, and I hope that you all will attempt the assessment and reflection for this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to post it on our discussion Padlet wall, where we can try and understand and discuss out some questions that you may have about antimicrobial resistance in general. Thank you so much, and see you next week.